Cheers! So welcome once again to the cringe land, to the cringe fest of stupid LinkedIn posts and cringy YouTube videos, or trashy, whatever you want to call it. It really doesn't matter at this point because this world doesn't make absolutely no sense at this point in my life, at least in my life. I hope it does make sense to you, at least for a tiny bit, to make it more understandable, to make it more comfy, to make it more livable at least. Okay, so today we're not gonna go through any of the advertisements, but we're rather gonna dive in a few LinkedIn posts which happen to grace me with their presence. I'm not gonna bash all of them because, there is a bit of like this philosophical thing going on between me and this content, because I see myself in some of those who are trying to make this, level up the tech field and make it better. But it's gonna continue to collapse, so no question about that. We're on a highway to hell. That's what I'm thinking right now. There is like no turning back at this point, so only moving forward. The devil is out there, the Satan himself awaits, and yeah, getting ready to meet this SOB, hoping that at least he's interesting. So let's start with this post right here. This is once again some chief business development officer. Like everybody is a CEO, everybody is like a multi-trillionaire nowadays, I guess, or a son or grandson of a multi-trillionaire. And modern females only want to date these type of guys. I understand that, no questions asked. Just don't come crawling back and asking for advice when shit hits the fan and all the consequences hit in. Anyway, let's move on with this post. So he says, vibe coding is the Ozempic of software development. So I've searched like this term Ozempic because I'm a dumb user, as I've said like numerous times before. I'm just a dumb fuck, I don't understand shit. And Ozempic means something like a medical prescription or a medicine like for type 2 diabetes or something like that. The very first sentence right here is just a self-contradictory, self-contradictory. It just collapses within itself, right? So vibe coding is bullshit. This is what I've called, like vibe coding is a virus of software development nowadays. That's what I think. It's not a medicine for sure. If a medicine was vibe coded, I think you'd probably die because of the chemical structure of that very same medicine. Let's continue with it. It radically accelerates results. No, it doesn't. You cannot just, click a button and just expect it to self-develop, to self-heal. Most importantly, produce like trustable, trustworthy results. No, you cannot. Crossing this out, this is BS, this is nonsensical thought. Results while reducing the mechanical typing code as text effort. No, it doesn't. Throughout the past 2 years of using AI tools and such, I have never felt that I am actually like speeding up or accelerate. It's almost like equal time that I need to either think of the solution myself and try to implement it, or ask AI and proceed with this back and forth, passing the ball here and there, right, before it comes up with a workable solution or a trustworthy piece of code or whatever. It still consumes the same amount of time. Maybe it consumes even more amount of time when you're using the AI. I don't know. I haven't put the timer on. This is just a feeling that I get. It hasn't changed the landscape anyhow. But I may be lying here because it might actually change the landscape by making it more chaotic and unpredictable and untrustworthy. Okay, so this next phrase is my favorite in this post. The new programming language is English. I think I'll start drinking, while filming these videos. Or doing 420, I don't know. Because I'm too damn close. But nothing ever makes sense. I don't know why do I have to state the obvious right here. I don't know. Help me God, please. So, wasn't English used as a programming language in the past? Isn't it used now? What do you mean by that? Like, new programming language is English. Please, good sir, elaborate. Because I am a dumb user and I don't understand the word you're saying. I'm a dumb, stupid piece of Android junk. More precisely, carefully structured, testable intent expressed in human language, backed by AI agents and compilers that turn it into working systems. AI agents don't understand the context. This is their biggest flaw nowadays. And this poses so many questions. In my experience of AI tools usage, no matter how you carefully structure your prompts and queries, it still produces unexpected results. It hallucinates so damn much. It's nearly impossible to rely on it somehow. And you're saying that I should use agents with their own infrastructure and rely on that? What if it hallucinates and deletes the DB or removes the testing environment where we are running our automation tests, for example? What if it does that? What if it makes a fix that produces 50 new bugs elsewhere in the system? No, can't be trusted, never will. We started with pseudocode, invented formal languages to make it executable, and now we're watching those languages dissolve back into something that runs. Yeah, the main part of the sentence is dissolve back into something that runs, because it's just it. It is something, we don't know what it is, we don't know which results it produces, It's just something that runs. You can say the same thing about the courier, for example, but it's not going to sound like something. It's someone who runs or drives, no, or walks. Same stuff. And he finishes this post like this. This is the new form of software development, not just hammering a keyboard with an IDE using C, C++, Java, or Python. Accurately left out the JavaScript and TypeScript, as if we don't exist. Hello, we do. The scarce skill is no longer syntax, it's clarity of intent. Speaking out of experience here, no matter how intentful I am with my prompts, with my instructions, no matter how clear I think I'm describing the logic, 80%, 85 maybe percent of the times, AI produces, I'd call it softly, incorrect results, okay? In order not to say some cuss word. You know what else is interesting? The fact that I see such posts only from, like mostly, not gonna lie here, not all of them, but most of them are from non-technical people, mostly like business, management, and I truly do think that it would be best for business if business people would do their job and tech people would do their job in their own respective fields. The first would not tell the second ones how to do their goddamn job. I think it would be best for business. In terms of hiring, in terms of onboarding, in terms of productivity, in terms of KPIs, in terms of everything. Let us do our job while you do yours. I would never, go up to a manager or like to anyone and tell them like what you're doing is completely wrong. Even though I don't have the experience, I'm still gonna tell you how to do your job. This is not a good practice of doing things. But yeah, we're done with this post. Let's move on. So the next post is not the one I want to bash, but simply like calmly put out my disagreements with it, with some parts. So let's go. Here we got some quality leadership coach. This is somewhere closer to my field of professional activity. So let's dig in. Budgets. Some clients simply don't see the value of QA. Yeah, because they're clients, and a typical client has his own vision of what the process looks like, what the business looks like, and what the output result should be. The real tech kitchen typically looks like. And it's total chaos. It's total chaos, believe me. Some things fail. Bugs are being pushed like to production sometimes. Some things are left out of our like all-seeing testing eye. This also happens. Some devs are too egocentric and perceive each finding or each defect which is discovered and recorded by QA as their own loss, as an attack, as a personal attack, which it's not. People tend to forget that we are all in the same boat and we're all in this together. Any business is sort of a ship, right? Which just goes through the waves, sometimes goes through the storms, sometimes the storms are heavy, sometimes it's just calm weather. Every day we are in this together. So I would strictly not recommend anyone to bash another teammate or tell them how to do their job or try to replace them with some AI BS. I can also relate to this first very sentence regarding the budgets and not seeing the value of the QA team, because in my experience I got laid off a couple of times, and it was mismanagement, cutting costs, effective management. This is the term that just infuriates me. Every time I see it, like it pops up in my head. They did not see the value unless they're drowning in bugs. So that comment from a tester on LinkedIn this week really stuck with me because it is such a common experience. True that. You explain the risks, you show the defects, you point out the potential impact, and still it gets treated as extra cost rather than value. It's true because most of the times the developers, the managers, they perceive each defect that tester kind of discovers as an attack, as a personal attack on them. When from the testers, from the QA's point of view, be it manual or automation, it doesn't matter right now. We tend to have more like of a negative mindset towards the system that we are interacting with, and we must break it. The only single goal here is to break it. Of course, you ask the question, how it works, how it is supposed to work. You study it, study all the levels of it, from UI to DB, I guess, maybe some infrastructure in process, but you are supposed to break it. They are supposed to build it, we are supposed to destroy it, but not because we are bad and they're good or vice versa or whatever the hell. No, it is by design to make it better, because if we don't do our job, users will do our job, and it's gonna be more costly for the business at the end of it. So here is the problem, as she says. When testers talk about risk, clients and stakeholders hear cost, and nobody wants more cost. If you reframe the message, the story changes. Fewer bugs in production sounds like quality control, or faster releases with fewer rollbacks sounds like a business failure. Part of me agrees with this, that you should try and to present the type of stuff, the type of like your activity or your job as a QA in more sort of positive manner towards the business. Another part of me, and it's more rational part of it, it says that it is better that They understand us from the very beginning. Why do you need a QA? So that you don't have to deal with angry customers in the long run. A QA at any given time, a QA is your first real customer. It's like your own focus group. And if a QA points out some defect or bug or whatever, or poses some idea for implementing changes to the functionality, it is not a personal attack on anybody. It's just like that, an idea. If you're so open-minded and willing to hear each and every side of the business and not gaslight or ignore as it usually happens, you will listen and you will not perceive it as a personal attack. Why are we even getting hired? Why do we even work together? There should be something else besides the money. But the more time I spend in this sphere, the more I understand that it will never change. There will always be these philosophical wars and confrontations. I have this opinion, you have that opinion, and we'll never match. And that's, the sad part of the story. But anyways, I don't want to descend into this black hole as of now, so let's move on with it. So the small language shift can move QAs from being seen as a ghost center to being seen as an enabler of delivery. I think it's an obvious thing. The tech has been around for so long, I think it's generational now. It's truly generational. And these discussions are still going on. At least try to refer to the experience of your predecessors from the same professional scope that you're working in. At least try doing that. Talk to the ancestors. This is what I mean when I say testers need to learn to speak the language of decision makers. It's not about selling, it's about showing how quality protects time, trust, and outcomes. Once again, when you're saying quality, what do you encapsulate it? Personally, for me, quality means pleasant user experience with as less defects as possible. Now, let's move on to the next post, or to the next cringy thing. Cringy little thing. So, there is, I guess, some HR coach who says one of the most self-sabotaging things candidates do after an interview. And yeah, self-sabotage is my second name in life, I guess, because you'll almost never find me satisfied with myself, with the work I do, with whatever. And some would say it's a good thing. Maybe, but it can be if you take it too far, it can be destructive. And trust me when I say that. It can be pretty damn destructive in your life. Because professional field mixes with personal and, it all becomes like an avalanche of chaos. And you're never satisfied with anything. Whether it's your own life, whether it's your environment. And I'm not speaking about the dev stage, production. I'm speaking about, the actual IRL. You're becoming grumpy, and you start to sound like a boomer, which I don't want to sound like. But anyways, let's continue with this post. And I keep seeing it happen. Messaging the interviewer the next day to reconfirm their interest with a long emotional paragraph about how much they want the role. I used to fall into this trap a few times in my life, really. Because, what's interesting? There is a paradox, at least in my life. So when I want to, let's say, participate in some organization, or in some, specific field, or if I just want something, I'll almost never get it like I want to. But when I stop giving a crap, it just magically appears out of nowhere. But I don't want it anymore, and that's the paradox of things. I don't know, maybe some of you can relate to that. Drop in the comments if you do, so we can suffer together. So let's move on with the post. So, sorry, but that doesn't come across as passion. It comes across as pressure. If you would put yourself in the shoes of your candidates, which you've probably never done by the looks of this post, you would understand that if a person is on time limit and doesn't have any income, a person is under tremendous amount of pressure. And you cannot fake happiness and as much as you cannot fake stress. It's gonna come out in this way or the other. It is just human nature. It is just a nature of energy. You gotta let it go. You gotta let it out. You gotta release it to feel better. So basically that's it. And yeah, there's gonna be pressure. You can only relate if you have been in the shoes of that person. And if you have felt that very same pressure, which is saying comes across as pressure. Because it does. But this specific post looks like an insult to the candidates. And to me personally. Because I've been in those situations in the past. And I don't ever want to be in that situation again. Trust me. You're on time limit. It's either you or death. At this point, this is the philosophy, this is the mindset, which is forced when you are in that very same situation. And I don't want anybody to be, including myself, of course. So let's move on. Once the interview is done, the best thing you can do is wait. Wait for what? For you to gaslight me? For you to ignore me? For you to say that, oh, we have decided to move on with another candidate who better fits the role. Yeah, I've been in those situations as well, so like it's not something that is new for me. And I got an example right here. So I've had this interview sometime in the past. They texted me at first. So the HR, and I don't have like any beef with that specific HR whatsoever. So she texted me and, you know, offered the role to have a screening interview, like which is like half an hour or something like that. And she gave me some info about the company. I've taken a look at that position. I was like a 90% fit. So 90% of all the requirements, you know, the goals, all that stuff, which is in typical job descriptions, all those were green tick, 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 tick for me. So the technological stack, the app itself, the experience that they need for this role. Like, so we done the interview. I sent like my CV. The response took a few days longer than I expected, but when she came back, she said that the hiring manager has decided to move on with the candidate that fits the role. And it's funny to me. It's funny to me because I was literally that candidate. It's like when a woman has a friend who has a crush on her, and when they have a sincere conversation and she says like, oh, you're so cool, like I wish I would have had a man like you, and he's like, I am literally that man. She wasn't the person that pissed me off, and neither was that hiring manager, because that hiring manager is not a QA. And that's what really pissed me off. Because if you're hiring a QA, I think it would be best for business to let your QA team decide whom they want to hire and whom they want to talk to. Because trust me, those type of interviews are going to be much more meaningful to both sides, to the ones who are conducting the interview and to the candidate as well, who can take something out of it. But no, we're still in this delusional land, Delulu land. Let your performance speak for itself. Yeah, so it's kind of, I've just like decimated this sentence. So let's end it with this. If anything, send a short, appreciate the opportunity message and leave it there. Well, I would appreciate if I would have been given it. Posts like these come from people who are either delusional or don't have experience, or have never been in the shoes of those whom they are writing about. So I'll leave you with this. Now, let me play a role of technical junkie right here. I don't usually do that, but this is the post that I think I have to review and make sure it's true. So yeah, we got somebody posted once again, like LinkedIn cringe. Yeah, somebody posted the 100-hour rule. Put in just 18 minutes a day, that's 100 hours a year, and you'll outperform 95% of the world in any skill you choose. Consistency turns average into exceptional. I do agree with the overall, like, you know, message of this image taken from some post in LinkedIn, but I just wanted to make sure that it's really 100 hours a year. So let's do a little calculation, right? We have 18 minutes and we are gonna multiply that by 30, would represent a typical calendar month. And we're also gonna multiply this by 12 months. So this is the amount of minutes per year for your skill improvement. Then we're gonna divide it by 60, and this would give us 108 hours. This is a tester's mindset, guys. So I don't want to sound like a technical junkie, but you know, make sure you check your facts before posting something. Simple as that. And I wanna end this video on sort of positive note, and as much as I would like to, I think it's pretty much impossible at this time. We got a junior QA post, but I'm not gonna bash this one. No, because I see myself when I was a junior. I see this mindset at that time, and I used to have a mindset like that, and it's good to have it as you gain more experience and as you understand that how this sphere really is, that is based mostly on lies, deception, selling emptiness, portraying manipulation as technological advancement. Unfortunately, this type of mindset, at least for me, it changed over time. So yeah, so let's go on with it. Before QA versus after QA, the real impact. Before QA, clients discover the bugs, and after QA, testers catch them long before release. Sometimes they do, and it's better if they do, and this is what we are there for as QAs. This is why we should and must be a part of the business, and it's critical and crucial for like any other side from that business to understand why do they need specialists like us. So that's the magic of proper QA processes. Not just detecting issues, but protecting your reputation before it's too late. As a business, you are worried, or you should be worried about your brand, right? About your reputation. So if you don't understand, if you don't want to understand why do you need QAs, think about the reputation damage. Think about the brand damage which could occur if you're not worried about quality at all. Which brings us to this little comparative table. So before QA, bugs reported by clients, which is not an extended coverage. And after QA, bugs caught early in testing. Earlier, should I say. No matter how much you implement the shift left approach, bugs are going to be caught earlier, but they're not going to be caught like with a 100% rate. Just impossible. And as much as I hate theory, I agree with the pesticide paradox. No matter how thoroughly you test it, you won't be able to fully cover it. Sorta. Yeah, next thing, how it fixes after release, before QA and after QA, smooth release cycle. I wish I could have agreed with this statement. My experience says that, usually requirements change on the go. No matter how similar your lower environments are to production, they're still not the same for whatever reason, and it's still like, it's a black box to me, even after like all these years in the profession. Yeah, it will be smoother than complete chaos when you don't have the gatekeepers like ourselves, but it won't be ideal as well. Just things gonna change, deadlines are gonna drop, and or be pushed further away and postponed. Stuff's gonna happen, and there is absolutely nothing we can do about it. And before QA you had stress and chaos, and after QA you have stress and chaos. I wish I would have said like confidence in delivery. The product improves, of course, there's like no doubt. If you have testing, you're gonna have increasing quality. You won't have it perfect. And this is something that we always thrive for. It's that like ideal vision, and there's always like one step left before achieving it, but you're never really there. It is getting pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed forward, and the system changes within time, so it's like nearly impossible. So I understand the thought, the message behind this post, and I can only wish good fortune and luck and many tremendous opportunities to this lady who's now a junior QA. I also wish that her mindset stays the same as she gains more experience, because my experience shows that it always goes back to the primordial chaos of things, to the primordial soup of evolution, and that's it. This is probably the most positive note that I can end this video with. So once again, thank you for being with me. Thank you for listening to my semi-ranting and my grumpiness, even though I'm not that old yet. Thank you, and see you in the next videos. Peace.